bigger problem with today's stan culture is how emotionally attached people become to strangers they'll never meet, while feeling completely disconnected from themselves. You think you're choosing sides in a rap battle, when the real battle is over your untapped potential. This is not don't enjoy music. This is not don't watch sports. This is not you can't have fun. The issue is when spectatorship becomes an emotional identity. There's a difference between enjoying the circus and living inside the tent, you heard me? You know what keeps standing out to me? The amount of emotional energy people pouring into this Kendrick and Drake shit compared to what they actually getting back from it. Because these commentators keep reducing everything down to good versus evil, real artists versus fake artists, culture versus outsider, light skin versus dark skin, lyricist versus pop star. You ready to cut off a man you known since grade school over a man who'd have his security escort you out his VIP section. I'm sure half my viewers done clicked out by now because once people emotionally pick a side, the whole thing stopped being entertainment. Now it's identity. Now criticism feel personal. Now disagreement feel disrespectful. Now every victory feel validating. Now every loss feel humiliating like a pop the balloon shutout. And not because people know these celebrities personally, but because they attach parts of themselves to these celebrities psychologically. And that's why the reactions become so intense. Because for a lot of people, this ain't really about music no more. It's about symbolic redemption. In your mind, Drake and Kendrick's win feel like your win. My guy, you renting redemption and still living in your car? If you spent years believing that the reason you don't finish what you start is due to a lack of discipline, willpower, or maybe even laziness, I need y'all to stop doing that. Multiple studies over the last 2.5 decades prove procrastination ain't a discipline problem. It's an emotional problem. That's right. You're not avoiding the work. You avoiding the emotion. That's why your routines and resolutions don't work. Your emotional foundation is weak. Me and Romani Malco will be hosting a live 90-minute workshop breaking down the 5 emotional blind spots crippling your follow-through and the blueprint for what to do about them. And yes, it's a live 90-minute workshop, so none of this multitasking and half-assing. Bars, if you're ready to be held emotionally accountable so you can start getting things done, I dare you to click the link in the description. Now let's get back to the program. I was in a debate with this punk explaining why my favorite rapper was superior to these mumble rappers. Mid-debate, this YN balled up his fist and walked up on me. I said, hey dog, I'm healing, but don't test me. He laughed, told me I should put it on a t-shirt. So you know what I did? I took old dude's advice. 3,071 sales later, I can't even remember which rapper I was defending. Look, family, some people have spent their entire life never addressing their own humiliation, their own rejection, their own resentment, their own insecurity, their own abandonment, their own anger issues. So now their favorite artists getting vindicated start feeling personal, like they own vindication. They favorite rapper winning start feeling like revenge for every moment they felt overlooked, embarrassed, or powerless or dismissed. You've been carrying that rejection since the 8th grade school dance. And now a millionaire going #1 feel like the slow clap you never got. Seriously? You celebrating his diss like it settled the score with your daddy. Different man, different decade. Same wound. His bars ain't aimed at nobody who ever hurt you, but you in the comments throwing haymakers. That's why the emotional investment feels so disproportionate. Because emotionally, people no longer reacting to the artist. They reacting through the artist. Type bars in the comments if you get that. And once you notice that, the inconsistency of these commentators make most sense. Because people ain't really rewarding consistency. They rewarding emotional certainty. That's why somebody can contradict themselves 6 months later and still keep their audience. Because audiences ain't looking for accuracy. A lot of times, they looking for emotional relief. Relief from uncertainty. Relief from ambiguity. Relief from confusion. That's why he finished, he cooked, he over, he been exposed. Always spreads faster than this situation is complicated. One gives emotional closure. The other requires thought. But most people who grew up in the Western education system don't really want nuance, especially during emotionally charged moments. They want oversimplified good versus evil rhetoric. That's the basic Negro curriculum Rockefeller, Carnegie, and Ford put in place for your ass. Folks don't want balanced objectivity. They want certainty, even fake certainty. People rather hear a confident lie than an honest maybe. That's why the loudest fraud always got the longest line. That's why people can spend I was watching reactions, debates, live streams, breakdowns, commentary clips, and walk away emotionally exhausted while gaining almost nothing meaningful. Because a lot of modern commentary ain't functioning as information no more. It's functioning as emotional stimulation. That's why every thumbnail start looking the same. Fake shock face, red arrows, all caps, destroyed, breaking, exposed. Everything emotionally escalated, everything urgent, everything catastrophic, because emotionally activated people stay engaged longer. You didn't learn nothing. You just got emotionally exercised by a man with a ring light and a side hustle. But eventually, people stop casually consuming celebrity culture and start psychologically living inside of it. That's when entertainment stops being entertainment and starts becoming emotional identity. You know what's fascinating? Watching grown men lend authority to personalities that contradict themselves every 6 months with absolutely no consequences. These people spend months saying, he finished, he washed, his career's over, culture done with him. Then public momentum shifts and suddenly he a strategic mastermind. He making calculated moves. He baited everybody. He playing chess, not checkers. Completely different position. Same confidence, same certainty, same dramatic tone, no self-reflection, no accountability, no maybe I reacted emotionally, nothing. And somehow the audience still emotionally invested. That's fascinating psychologically. And what does it say about you if you continuously give your attention, focus, engagement, emotional energy to people who repeatedly demonstrate that they are loyal to nothing except the pandering of public opinion? They not really standing on principle. They surfing consensus, finding more entertaining ways to repeat what everybody else already emotionally feels, then packaging it like original insight. And people eat it up because most audiences is more desperate for affirmation than information. Now would be a good time to hit the like button if you like something, and if you're motivated as hell, hit that notification bell. And if you really want to see my channel grow, I'm gonna need you to hype this video and share it with your folks. At some point, you gotta ask yourself, what exactly qualifies somebody as an authority now? Is it volume? Is it confidence? Is it certainty? Is it followers? Is it a podcast microphone? A dramatic thumbnail? Is it consistency? Regardless of their accuracy? Because a lot of these personalities don't actually sound informed. They sound emotionally convincing. That's a big difference. And people confuse emotional conviction with actual credibility all the time, especially online. That's why somebody can say something with absolute confidence, be completely wrong, come back 6 months later saying the exact opposite and lose zero influence. Because emotionally, people remember how somebody made them feel more than whether they were accurate. And that's dangerous. Your whole election cycle got hijacked by these jokers, and none of y'all ninjas is Bruce Wayne. Now they trying to backpedal and disassociate from the very ideology they applauded, promoted, and voted for. And you still giving them your attention, feedback, posting comments on their posts, even if it's to disagree. It's attention currency that they don't deserve. Y'all need to turn these ninjas' feeds and comment section into ghost towns. I want to hear, woo, when I see one of their posts. Woo! I want to see tumbleweeds. Now let's expose the PSYOP behind the operation. The machine pulling the strings and the puppet clocking in every day to work for free. I'm gonna break it down into 12 simple terms for these $2 in the tank type ninjas. Number 1, intermittent reinforcement. It's behavioral psychology. Same mechanism behind gambling addiction. Variable emotional rewards keeps people hooked longer than predictable rewards. That's why people keep refreshing social media looking for the next humiliation, the next expose, the next shocking clip, the next betrayal, the next career-ending moment. One live stream boring, next live stream explosive. One podcast regular, next podcast humiliating somebody. Your brain starts chasing emotional spikes the same way gamblers chase unpredictable payouts. That's why outrage culture becomes compulsive. Not because people consciously choose addiction, but because unpredictable emotional rewards psychologically hook attention stronger than stability do. Your phone is a slot machine that pays in dopamine hits. You ain't scrolling, you pulling levers. Buzz! Number 2, parasocial attachment is one-sided emotional bonds with public figures. That's why people defend celebrities like they relative. Psychologically, the audience starts emotionally bonding with people who don't even know they exist. And once that attachment forms, criticism stops feeling intellectual. Now it will feel personal. And that's why I Didn't Like That album can feel emotionally triggering to somebody. have them reaching for their piece. You know his discography, his deal, his baby mama drama, but you gotta think hard to tell me your daughter's favorite color. Number 3, it's called identity fusion. That's when somebody psychologically merges their identity with a celebrity, with a tribe, with a movement, with an ideology. Now disagreement don't feel like disagreement no more. Now it feel like an attack, disrespect, humiliation. And that's why people emotionally implode online over strangers, because psychologically, the celebrity stopped being separate from the self. Type bars in the comments if you get that. You so welded to this man, to this performer, to this personality, that an insult to him feel like a chalk outline around you. And you still sitting there trying to figure out what side I'm on. Ninja, I'm on TJ's side. I'm on my son's side while he riding his bike. I'm on my niece's side when she in tumble competition. I'm on my queen's side when we spooning on the sofa. The hell I look like. Number 4, active polarization. People stop simply disagreeing and become emotionally invested in the opposition itself. The conflict becomes emotionally rewarding. That's why everything online get reduced to winner versus loser, real versus fake, culture versus outsider, good versus evil. People not trying to understand no more. They trying to emotionally defeat the other side. Type bars in the comments if you get that. Dog, you don't even want the truth no more. You want the other side to lose. Congratulations. Ironically, the losing side still made more money than you, still benefited more than you, still got room for growth. And all you got was robbed of your time, energy, and focus. You feel better now? Woo! Good for you. Number 5, emotional contagion. Emotions spreading socially through networks. One emotional reaction clip turns into 100 reaction channels, 10,000 angry tweets, millions of emotionally reactive people amplifying each other in real time. That's why outrage online spread faster than careful analysis. Emotion transfers socially faster than logic do. One podcaster's tantrum become 10,000 people's whole Tuesday. Outrage spread like pink eye in a daycare. Number 6, cognitive overconfidence. Psychologists call part of this the illusion of explanatory depth. It's like people feel like they understand something deeply because they consume commentary about it. But consuming information and understanding information ain't the same thing. And that's why somebody can watch 4 podcast clips and suddenly sound like they negotiating record deals for Universal Music Group. You watched a 40-second clip and now you got opinions like you was in the room when the deal got signed. Type bars in the comments if you get that. Number 7, heuristic processing. It's fast emotional thinking replacing slow, nuanced thinking. Social media rewards certainty, speed, oversimplification, reactionary shit, not reflection, not ambiguity, not careful thought. And that's why, he cooked. Travel faster online than the situation is psychologically and culturally complicated. One triggers instant emotion, the other requires mental effort. And most people online ain't trying to think deeply, they trying to emotionally orient themselves socially. You reacting at microwave speed to something that needed a crock pot. Type bars in the comments if you get that. Number 8, negativity bias. The human brain naturally prioritizes threat, conflict, danger, humiliation, outrage. That's survival psychology, which means he exposed, he destroyed, he over will almost always outperform balanced information emotionally. The brain notices danger faster than nuance. The brain built to spot the lion, not the sunset. So bad news always cut to the front of the line. 10 people compliment you and 1 insult you. Guess which one you taking to bed tonight? Type bars in the comments if you get that. Number 9, attention economy conditioning. Platforms conditioning human behavior around engagement instead of accuracy. Meaning, the content most rewarded online is usually not the most truthful, not the most nuanced, not the most emotionally healthy. It's whatever keeps people emotionally activated longest. And eventually, creators adapt to that reward structure. Not because they evil masterminds, it's because human behavior adapts to incentives. The platform don't care if it's true. They just need you to believe it long enough for them checks to cash. Number 10. Outrage addiction. People becoming psychologically dependent on anger-inducing content because outrage creates stimulation, certainty, tribal belonging, dopamine, emotional intensity. But that's why some people consume content that clearly stresses them out all day long, because emotional activation itself becomes addictive. You wake up and reach for the first thing that ruins your morning, like a married down low brother, hate watching, Hate scrolling, hate commenting, hate became your hobby, and you probably ain't even Haitian. Performative identity construction is number 11. People publicly exaggerating certainty, loyalty, outrage, or allegiance to signal that they belong to a tribe. That's why everybody online suddenly sound like campaign managers during rap debates. People not always expressing authentic beliefs. A lot of times, they performing social belonging publicly. That's not conviction, it's cosplay. And you don't know the difference. And perhaps the most dangerous is number 12, spectatoring, vicarious living, living through people instead of confronting your own life directly. Watching became a substitute for becoming. That's why people know album timelines, celebrity contracts, podcast drama, internet beef, history, but can't explain their emotional triggers, their avoidance patterns, their unresolved resentment, their fear of rejection, because spectatoring feels psychologically safer than self-confrontation. And modern media quietly profits from that every single day. You memorize another man's highlight reel while you fail to roll tape in your own life. Type bars in the comments if you get that. If you ain't figured it out by now, the real reason that you keep stalling on your goals has nothing to do with how disciplined, motivated, or focused you is. Men hate it when I say this, but your failure to commit to your ideas and even your dreams is an emotional issue. Dog, don't take my word for it. Research has been confirming this for over 2 decades. No, look up the Soroisan cycle study. You're not avoiding tasks. You're not avoiding accountability. What you avoiding is emotional discomfort. Yes, women too. That's the real reason your follow-through is garbage. You don't need another planner. You need emotional awareness. Romani Malcolm and I is hosting a live 90-minute workshop where we expose the 5 emotional blind spots sabotaging most people's progress, and we hand you the exact playbook to get you active on your shit. Show up ready to take notes and be called on. This ain't no replay, we live. So if you done sleeping on your own ambition, you need some real ones to wake your ass up, link in the description. Let's get back to this program, you heard me? This is probably the part of social commentary nobody wants to talk about. What happens to a person after years of consuming emotional spectacle instead of directly confronting their own life? After a while, people stop participating emotionally in their own development and start spectatoring everything. Watching, reacting, commenting, debating, analyzing, choosing sides, but never really building, never really confronting themselves, never really changing. And that's the hidden danger in all of this. Not entertainment itself. Spectatorship becoming a lifestyle, because emotionally reacting to someone else's story can create the illusion of movement without requiring actual movement in your own life. That's why somebody can spend a lifetime avoiding their health, their marriage, their loneliness, their fear, their unresolved trauma, their procrastination, their emotional immaturity, because watching feels psychologically safer than confronting yourself directly. And social media accidentally created the perfect environment for this. A person can feel emotionally engaged, socially connected, intellectually involved, culturally aware, without ever materially changing their actual life. Do y'all see how dangerous that is? Because eventually, emotional stimulation starts impersonating purpose. People mistake emotional engagement for actual progress, but reacting ain't building. Consuming ain't creating, watching ain't becoming, and after enough years of this, people slowly lose their tolerance for stillness, for reflection, internal work, uncertainty, silence, deep focus. Everything gotta be stimulating, dramatic, fast, emotional, urgent, and honestly, I think a lot of people are emotionally exhausted right now without fully understanding why. Their nervous system constantly cycling through outrage, tribalism, conflict, humiliation, vindication, controversy, reaction, all day, every day, over people they will never meet, over things they cannot control. That's psychologically heavy, whether people admit it or not. Meanwhile, real life keep moving quietly in the background like the married side chick. Relationships aging, bodies aging, dreams aging, time disappearing, while people emotionally invest themselves deeper and deeper in the narratives they ultimately have no control over. Maybe that's the darkest part of all this. You being emotionally manipulated in the narratives that don't improve your life one iota. And your impulsivity is what makes you an easy target. Not only that, it's costing you a better quality of life. It's costing you peace, fulfillment, and your bag. And I break that down to the marrow in this video right here, you heard me?